What's going on YouTube? It's your boy TK the Official, and welcome back to another episode of TK Sports Talk, where we talk about the NFL, but more importantly, we talk about the Philadelphia Eagles, man. Day 2 of the Philadelphia Eagles and the Cleveland Browns joint practice has wrapped up for the day, and joint practices are good. Joint practices are fun, right? Training camp is fun. There's a lot of different storylines. There's guys that we just don't know quite a whole lot about how they're going to make the team. They're fighting for roster spots, right? There's a couple different open backup positions that we're looking to fill, right? Maybe a couple starting positions that we want to know who's going to come in and take the job, right? So there's a lot of different storylines in training camp, but at some point in time, it's just time to get to the regular season, right? Like, let the last preseason game happen. Let the Eagles make the final cuts. Let the Eagles go ahead and get their practice squad together. And let's just get ready for the regular season, right? Let's get ready for real, meaningful football, right? But in the time being, you have your guys that want to go to practice. They want to keep stats of the quarterback, completion percentage, right? They want to say, well, this would have been an interception and this would have been a pick. They want to report that Milesgarrett is sacking Jalenhurts or any of the Philadelphia Eagles quarterback play after play after play, right? Without mentioning that there's no Landon Dickerson, without mentioning that there's no, like for today, for example, there was no Lane Johnson, right? And what also, the Philadelphia Eagles and every team in the National Football League, this is all practice. I know for fans, right? And for some of you all out there, right, it's hard to understand that, man. Okay, guys, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. It's hard to understand what's going on in training camp because sometimes we take what's happening and we just say, oh, this is what the output of the season is going to be, right? It's like we're not a radio show here, right? On this particular podcast, we don't do all that. We don't talk like that. Some podcasts, they like to drum up those type of negative thoughts just for banter, right? Just for conversation, and perhaps maybe I should do that. Maybe I would get more viewership on the show. Maybe I would have more topics to talk about if I just talked about things and made them seem like they were worse than what they really are, right? But at this particular point in time, right, we have learned from Nick Sirianni. We have learned from Jalen Hurts. We have learned from this football team, from this organization, exactly what this team is about, right? And exactly how they're going to go about their business year after year after year, each regular season as they go into the postseason, as they try to win Super Bowls after Super Bowls after Super Bowls, right? So whether or not there was a good, successful practice one day in the eyes of someone else, I mean, listen, who knows what they're working on that particular day, right? Who knows if they're working on a time and play and a coordinator is telling the quarterback, hey, listen, I want you to try to fit this ball behind the linebacker, in between the safety, and right past that cornerback right there, okay? This guy should be here at this particular point in time. By the time you get to this drop or this hitch, you should be able to let the ball go. And maybe the timing was wrong on the quarterback's part. Maybe the timing was wrong on the wide receiver's part. Maybe the defense that particular defense was playing is not the right defense that we want to run that play against, right? All of this is just data that we're getting to see. All of this is just putting things on film, right? Putting things on wax, as they like to say, so that you can go back, you can watch the film, and you can see, okay, listen, why didn't this play work here? Or why was this guy? Okay, because they was in this look. All right, so listen, so now we're going to try to run this play against a different look. We know not to run this play against this look as much as we thought that we might, or, it's a whole bunch of combinations of things. But understand that this Philadelphia Eagles football team, the coaching staff on this team are smart. They know how to develop their players. They know how to put their players in the best position, and they know how to game plan, right? Understand that there's no game plan in practice, right? And I don't want to go off on training camp and practice reports and all of this because I'm on Twitter, I'm on X, right? I live and die off of the reports that's coming off of training camp and from other reports that other people are reporting out there. Like, we all want and crave for the news to try to figure out and try to put a picture together so we can understand just how well this Philadelphia Eagles football team is doing. But make no mistake about it, ladies and gentlemen, we know exactly what this Philadelphia Eagles offense is, right? Even down Landon Dickerson for 1 or 2 games, right? We understand what this Philadelphia Eagles is. We know what Saquon Barkley is. We know what A.J. Brown is. We know what Devontae Smith is. We know what Dallas Goedert is, right? And what we haven't known is all of those players being on the field healthy at the same time for a good part. What we did see that was in the Super Bowl. We did see that in the NFC Championship game, all right? I hope that Dallas Goedert can stay healthy, okay? I'm not going to put that on any other players because they've all done a pretty good job. A.J. Brown has missed some time. Devontae Smith has missed some time. We know Saquon's history, but not here with the Eagles. Since he's been with the Eagles, he's been healthy. And the Philadelphia Eagles training staff does a pretty good job of keeping their players healthy. Right? So we know what Jalen Hurts is, right? We know what this offensive line capability is. We know Jeff Stoutland. We know Nick Sirianni, right? And if the only thing we don't know is Kevin Patullo, but we know Kevin Patullo has been with Nick Sirianni since before coming to the Philadelphia Eagles. We know Nick Sirianni is this offense. We know he is the architect of this offense, right? So it really doesn't matter who the coordinator is, right? But we know, since even seeing the first game that we saw in the preseason for Cincinnati and the Philadelphia Eagles, we saw Kevin Patullo have command of the game. And one thing that Nick Sirianni talked about today was the flow of the offense, the way that offense flowed, right? So don't worry so much about what we're seeing in practice, whether this happened, didn't happen. We know good and well how this Philadelphia Eagle football team plays the game, right? They may not even be, doing any RPOs. This may be straight, maybe under center looks, maybe, right? Or these under centers, or these out the gun, is the pistol, like what, like, or is this an RPO? Was this the zone? Like what, like, you know what I'm saying? It's so much to it not to know, right? On defensively, listen. The Philadelphia Eagles are trying to figure out where they're going to go at the cornerback 2 spot, right? At first I thought it was a quick fix between having Jacorian Bennett come in here, right? But listen, realistically, he's got to earn his spot, right? Vic Fangio doesn't care what you did anywhere else that you did it at, right? You've got to show Vic Fangio that you deserve more playing time, and if you do show him that, you're going to get it. Right. And so it's going to be a battle. I'm going to really be interested in looking forward these next 2 games, right, to find out who's going to be the winner of this cornerback 2 battle, right? Because now we're hearing news coming out of training camp that Mac Williams, right, in the beginning of camp, we saw that Mac Williams was getting some play at the outside spot. We saw he was getting some dime looks. And we heard Vic Fangio say some complimentary things about him, right? And we know Vic Fangio just doesn't hand out compliments just for no reason, right? And so now he's entered back into the mix, and now it's a 4-man race, right? You got Keely Ringo, you got Adoree Jackson, you got Jacorian Bennett, and now Mac Williams is into the race, right? And, I think this is a good thing. Some of us look at it and we see that, oh man, we're in trouble. We don't have a starter. No one has established themselves. No one has stuck out just yet. And I can see how that might give you a little bit of apprehension, right? But at the same time, right, it's going to make whoever's going to win this job have to fight for it. Nobody's going to be given this job. If Keely Ringo came into the season and thought that this job was just going to be his, right, he's already has woken up, right? If Adoree Jackson thought because he was a veteran and he was going to have something over Keely Ringo and experience, doesn't have it, right? If Jacorian Bennett thought he was just going to fly and catch a red-eye plane and fly over here and adjust to the time zone and then just automatically be the starter because he started out in Oakland. This ain't Oakland, baby. This is Philadelphia, right? Now, Mac Williams is out there fighting for a spot. Fighting for a roster spot at that, right? Wasn't a first round, second round, third round pick, right? 4th, 5th, 6th round. You fighting for a spot, right? This is a talented football team. Nobody's guaranteed a spot unless you're guaranteed a spot. You understand what I'm saying, right? So defensively, we know what this Philadelphia Eagles football team is almost at every position except for cornerback 2 and for safety. Right now, Andrew Makuba's getting some playing time. Sidney Brown has been playing very well, right? We like what we see from him athletically. Cooper DeJean has been getting some playing time at safety in our base looks, right? But we know most of the time we're running the nickel look, and we want Cooper DeJean to be on the football field 100% of the time. And I agree with that, right? So we're just trying to see at every other position, we know defensively, we know where we are defensively across this line. I think that we really have a lot of talent on the defensive line, especially when adding guys like Ty Robinson, all right, seeing what Gabe Hall is able to do, right? I like his versatility. I like his length. I like the power that he brings and his craftiness of being able to be a solid pass rusher. Love what we're seeing from Jordan Daniels. Love what we're seeing from Jalen Carter, and love what I'm seeing from from my outside guys, from Jalen Hunt, from Nolan Smith, right, and Azeez Ojulari. At first was silent. Now I'm starting to understand and hear things that he's now starting to come along, right. Waiting to see what Josh Uche and Azeez Ojulari is going to look like in this game. They're going to get plenty of playing time in this game, and perhaps maybe the Philadelphia Eagles will start to scheme up a couple different things in this game and try to see just how these guys fit in the actual game plan, right. There are progressions to the preseason, guys. So we just need to understand what's happening, what's going on. So far, we saw some great things coming out this camp. Landon Dickinson has already had his surgery. He's back on the football field, and he's bringing beers out to the guys, man. You know what I'm saying? Landon Dickinson being who Landon Dickinson is, and hey, if Coach Sirianni doesn't have a problem with it, who the hell am I to say anything, okay? Landon Dickinson, you get back soon, and you make sure you take care of that knee, right? We've seen Jalen Hurts out there with Shadeursanders tutelage, giving him some tutelage, right? Unfortunately, Shadeursanders suffered an oblique strain and will not be able to play in the game. But he was able to get some game from Jalen Hurts, a guy that he looks up to, a guy that could possibly mentor him as he comes up, right? Guy facing a lot of scrutiny, guy who wasn't a first round pick like he thought he should have been, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's a lot of similarities there, man. I'm happy to see Jalen Hurts doing that. Happy to also see Jalen Hurts with Michael Vick, right? Michael Vick, and think about the eras of quarterbacks that we've been in, man. I mean, you know, like in my lifetime, you know, I seen Randall when I was really young, but when I really was old enough, you know, right at that particular point in time, I think we was fully into the Donovan McNabb era, right? So for me, it was Donovan McNabb. You know, I mean, we had some couple quarterbacks in between there, you know, but then it was Michael Vick, right? And then, you know, we had some couple quarterbacks in between there, but now it's Jalen Hurts, right? So to see Jalen Hurts and Michael Vick together on the football field like that, man, just, you know, it's just a sense of nostalgia for us Philadelphia Eagles football fans, right? And seeing Deshaun Jackson and Michael Vick back together on the football field, and these two men respectively are coaching two HBCU two HBCU college teams that will be going against each other in Dell State, led by Deshaun Jackson, and then Norfolk State, led by Michael Vick, man. So it's a great game coming up. I believe it's October 30th at the Link. I will be there for that game. Got to be there to support those two black men, man, as they're making their trek into football coaching, and they've gotten two great opportunities as head coaches of these two franchises and these two collegiate schools, and we'll see just how they do, you know, as they progress in their career. Other great things that we've seen, you know, we've seen our wide receivers getting out there on the football field, getting great work in. We've seen Lane Johnson and Miles Garrett, you know, two Hall of Fame guys getting good work in, right? You know, we've been able to see the Philadelphia Eagles take some positive steps, right? Everything is a natural progression, right? Everything is just helping the Eagles fine-tune what they need to do, right? What's working, what's not working, what we like, what we need to work on, how we need to go about it, right? We're all just gathering information, right? So this has no indication of how the Philadelphia Eagles are going to perform in the regular season, right? So just enjoy the practice for what it is right now, guys. Let's just get geared up, right? We are now actually in the golden ages of Philadelphia Eagles football, right? The golden ages of the Eagles is happening right now. Realize what a time we're in, right? What a time to be alive. Listen, this is your boy TK the Official, man. This has been a little bit of an Eagles update, man. I'll be right back at you with more Eagles content. This is your boy TK Sports Talk. Go Birds.